These are a plumbing disaster waiting to happen. These are the hoses of your washing machine. The supply for the washing machine will be either copper or plastic PEX, which then goes to a supply valve which feeds these rubber hoses. These hoses don't last that long. They should be changed every couple of years, especially if you're starting to see corrosion or leaks, which is what you see here. Which is why I'm going to be replacing my hoses with brand new hoses. They also have braided, shielded supplies hoses, but I don't need that. These are a little bit cheaper, and I know I'm going to be replacing them in a couple of years anyway. What's very important are these little washers. These washers will go inside in here, and then as you tighten them, these washers will be watertight. And they'll be tightened right here, and that washer prevents leaks. Steps for replacing. Also, these supply valves, you're supposed to turn them off. You see, this is on, off. You're supposed to turn it off after every time you use the washing machine, but people rarely do that. So what happens is these hoses could not only leak, but they could burst and flood your house, because if this is open and if you're not home and one of these hoses fails, then water will just continue to come in the house, which is a flood. So potentially very expensive damage if you don't replace these hoses. So should turn it off. They do have automatic valves that are a little bit more expensive, of course, but the manual valve, you can just shut the valve like that, especially if you're going to go on a trip or something. Make sure that's shut. So you want to make sure the washing machine is off and unplug it. You're going to get some water that's in these hoses, so when you take them off, have a rag or a bucket ready. The tools really are just a rag and pliers. The actual process of replacing these hoses is pretty straightforward. You want to make sure you have some kind of bucket and some rags, because there's going to be some water. As you can see there, the washers, the little washers inside the hoses can get worn out and start to leak. At the very least, you should replace those washers, but if you're going to do that, you may as well just replace the hose and replace both hoses. As you can see there, this one is starting to wear out, showing some signs of breaking down. It's only a matter of time, just a ticking time bomb, really. Eventually that hose was going to fail. Again, worn out washers inside the hoses, which would have started to leak. It can be confusing when putting these back on that the hot is on the left as you're looking at it from the back. So if you're looking at it straight down, the hot is on the right. On the shutoff valve, you can see that it says hot on the left. I like to use pipe dope or thread sealant on pretty much anything threaded. This is not for waterproofing, it's more for lubrication, so it makes for a really smooth connection on the threads. This is especially important on older pipes and galvanized pipes. There's a washer, flat washer, it goes inside the hose, and as the threads are connecting, it's the washer, as I said earlier, that's actually making the watertight seal. It gets compressed and it's completely watertight. Brand new hose, put the washer in, pretty straightforward. Tighten this by hand and then give it a few extra turns, maybe not complete turns, with your pliers or wrench. The pipe dope makes for a smooth connection.
And be careful on these plastic threads. I still put pipe dope on them. Might be even more important for a smooth connection. You don't want to cross thread or over tighten this. Again, it's the little rubber washer inside that makes the seal. So it's just, as long as it's tight, doesn't have to be too tight. As long as it's tight, it's going to be completely waterproof. Waterproof seal, watertight. Color coded red and blue just makes it easier to make sure you're connecting hot to hot and cold to cold. There you might see me kind of turning it to the left a little bit, and what that does, you'll hear a click when you're in the threads, and then you can turn it to the right clockwise. Doing that helps to prevent cross threading. Now that it's tight, you're ready to turn on the valve, and what that does is it fills those hoses with water. If you have a leak, you should see it. You should see a leak at this point, but you can still run the washer to make sure you have no leaks. There you go. Got the water turned on. Double check, make sure there's no leaks. Use a flashlight if you need to. And on these hoses, it will say replace every 5 years, and will actually tell you the date that you should replace them. Or sooner if you start to see wear or leaks. And while you're at it, you could replace your faucet hoses. Anytime you change a faucet, you should be replacing the hoses underneath for similar reasons. It's a rubber inside there, and the rubber washers wear out and they can start to leak, and the rubber itself. And any hose or pipe could burst as well, either from the rubber deteriorating or from freezing. And while you're at it, you may as well make sure that all your copper pipes or any pipe are insulated in the winter to prevent bursting. All of these are good preventative maintenance, so you could avoid a plumbing disaster such as a flood. Any of these could burst, and especially if you're not home, could be an expensive disaster. So, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more tips.